there, you wonderful bunch of sausages, and welcome to an insane fight that we've got for you today. The Tyranids are at it again, ladies and gentlemen, taking on an Imperial Guard defense today. Now, the Imperials have been backed into this corner here, and as such are going to try and make a last stand against this Hormagaunt scouting party here. About 500,000 Hormagaunts are currently running towards these Imperial Guard lines. You can see our conscripts here desperately trying to hold back the waves of chitin and teeth that are just gnarling and gnashing towards them. My god, we've also got some good old Adapties Astartes, of course. We need these on the front line. They've opted to help out the Imperials here. There's only about 200 of them, but my god, that bolt of fire is raking this front line as the Tyranids come storming forward. Look at that. There's so many of them, no matter how many the Imperials are killing at the moment. The Tyranids are just surging forwards, trying to find any gap that they can. Look at that, swarming over the hill here. A couple of Imperials charging forward to try and meet them head on. Is it wise? Is it brave? God only knows. The Emperor of Mankind smiles on as these Imperials charge forward here right into the Tyranids. The Tyranids, though, of course, just ripping open these poor Imperials trying to get there. Now, if we go round to the far side, you can see that we've got this little box formation over here on the floating rock. I don't know why this rock's floating, but it is. But this box formation up here, these guys are set to hold. The rest of everyone else is set to guard mode, so they should all back up. But this is the fire superiority here, ladies and gentlemen. These guys have got a really good view of the battlefield, as you can see. You can see that entire Tyranid swarm, so hopefully they'll be laying the smackdown into them. You can see that Tyranid swarm here really crushing down into this area. Hundreds and hundreds of Hormagaunts a second are being killed at the moment, but the same can almost be said for the Imperial army here as the bodies of the Tyranids start to pile up on the front line. The Guardsmen really struggling now to lay that firepower into them. Let's go for a bit of an overhead view here. So yeah, you can see now that the Tyranids are really pushing that box formation very, very hard on that side. Little Timmy, oh my, rejoice. Little Timmy has got a blood lake over here starting to form. Now, this is going to be interesting. This could actually block some of the pattern here for the Tau. I don't know why I call them Tau. For the Tyranids here. They both start with T, that's why. And it actually looks like it's doing it. Yeah, look, that's blocking the pattern here for the Tyranids now, having to switch between the two flanks. That's excellent news for our Imperial defenders here. God, these Tyranids, though, just surge forward, regardless of the insane losses. And like I said, these are just Hormagaunts. This is just a probing attack. But you can see that the venerable veterans over here, standing tall with their bolters, laying that smackdown on the front line. And oh my God, have they really laid the smackdown on this front line? 220,000 kills to the defenders so far. It looks like our box formation is falling slowly but surely here. The fire superiority is being lost, and the Tyranids are starting to engage into a flank. They are going to be met by a group of Leman Russes here. So hopefully that should keep them at bay, or at least busy for a little bit. You can see that the rest of the Imperials, though, now have backed up here to our Space Marines and are trying to hold this defensive line. Yet death comes storming forward. It's chitinous, ravenous horde here. I love these two Space Marines on the front line here, just guarding the rest of the Guardsmen as explosive bolter rounds fly overhead. Now, you've got to imagine that each one of these bolter rounds is taking out 2 to 3 Tyranids at a time, especially as it explodes and sends shrapnel all around it. But the Tyranids are trying to push hard on all sides. However, they have completely gained control of this flank now as they come storming right into the Leman Russ tanks. The Lemans here standing firm, using the forward-mounted bolter and last cannons here, as well as the turret, to try and take out as many of the Tyranids as humanly possible. There's still 200,000 Tyranids out there. There's only 7,000 defenders remaining. However, the defenders are stalwart. They're holding their ground. Every now and then a Guardsman gets a bit brave and charges forward, which is keeping the Tyranids at bay. This front line over here, though, is looking a little bit dicey, even with the help of all that bolter fire coming in. The sheer weight of numbers is swarming over the dead here. The Tyranid dead here are providing cover for the rest of the Tyranids. The Imperial Guard can no longer shoot on that back line. though these bolter rounds are still exploding right above them. You can see our Tyranids over this side now happily going into these tanks, bit by bit, clawing their way through it, causing mechanical failures. We have got Guardsmen trying to hold the line with them, but there is a lot of Tyranids pushing into this end, and they are flanking right into the Space Marines now. But the Imperials still holding on this side. I'm actually amazed that the Tyranids haven't been able to push through this area yet. I would have thought that they would have filled in this blood lake here. Let's go have a look how deep this is actually now. Oh my, little Tibby. Yeah, you can get out a merchant ship on this one. That's a deep lake. And it's mainly Tyranid blood. 5,600 defenders remaining here. 130,000 Tyranids still attacking as our body pile gets insanely tall now. This front line though, can you imagine being a guardsman on this front line here? Look at this brutality. Not only are you standing on the ravenous dead here, so you know you could be punctured through the foot at any point because all these blades are still sharp and they're all still sticking upwards here, and the Tyranids are just scooting in between them here. It's going to be absolutely insane. I would hate to be a guardsman. It's going to be one of the worst things ever in the 40k universe, just being a guardsman. At least every other race and every other person has a chance at killing something. For a guardsman, his only luck is sheer weight of numbers and the odds. That is literally just odds and possibility. That's the only thing that's in the favor of the guardsman here. Because when you deploy 1 million troops and you lose half of them to a skirmish like this, you know, it's got to be a bit demoralizing for the rest of your troops. But my God, are we actually holding back the Tyranid swarm here? I think we are. This probing attack by the Tyranids has exactly done that. It has probed the defenses, but I don't think they've been overwhelmed yet. We can see that we've got a lot of guardsmen ready and waiting back here with their auto guns just laying down lots and lots of firepower over the Space Marine brethren. The Space Marines now are the ones bearing the brunt of the Tyranid forward. I forgot what I was even going to say then. The Space Marines here are bearing the brunt of the Tyranid oppression here, as the Tyranids keep pushing forward, trying to ravenously get through the chunks of armor. But the Space Marines are holding firm for now, as we would expect, to be honest. No Space Marine is going to be taken out by these pesky gaunts. There's nowhere near enough gaunts here to take out a Space Marine. As we come down to our last 50,000 Tyranids here now, it does look like the flank is starting to peter out a little bit. The Lehman Russies did hold firm, ladies and gentlemen. The flank is almost secure here. Hardly any Tyranids are now pushing into it, and it looks like we're also running out on this side. Only a few Tyranids now scattering through, but they did actually manage to finally get to the front line over here. We are losing troops here for the Imperial Guard, bit by bit. It is getting a desperate last stand mentality amongst the troops at the moment. They don't know how many of the enemies are out there. That's the problem for these guys. They can't see the battlefield anymore. All they can see is endless swarms of Tyranids pouring over the bodies of their dead comrades. Oh my God, look at this. It's hard to see the battlefield in some places because of the amount of bolter fire. I always wondered how bright would a Warhammer battlefield actually be in reality, with all the melter fire going off, these plasma rounds, you know, there'd be so many explosions. I don't think nighttime would ever exist on a Warhammer battlefield. I think it'd just be perpetual light from all the ammunition cooking off and explosions and stuff like that. Like I said, you got to think plasma streaking across the battlefield. That's going to give off some radiating light there. As we come down now to the last little trickle of our Hormagaunts here. 3,000 melting against the Space Marine defense here. Luckily, the Space Marines managed to hold it here for the Imperials. Without the Space Marines, I think these Imperials would be pretty dead at the moment. So, lucky to these chaps, they actually managed to survive. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It finally happened. They killed all 500,000 Tyranids. And we are going to call this one here. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. A massive shout out to all our channel members who help keep this channel going. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button below. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out the Pinky store, where we've got really cool t-shirts. Links in the description below. With all that being said, as always, until next time, peace.